during the flight. I remember faces.
Do you know today's date?
July 15th.
The flight you were on vanished July 15th. You've been missing for 12 years.
We back.
Yeah, Real Reviews, we back. We got a special edition episode for you guys. We got special guests, Lamont Gant and Marlon McCaulsky. How you guys doing today?
Good, I'm good.
Yeah, so if you guys have been watching our posts recently, we just did a review on Returned, 2015 film that was done by these gentlemen here. And of course, we wanted to have them on the show so we can talk further about it, about the project itself, the inspiration, things they've been doing, and what they got coming soon. Yeah, so JS1, I know you got a bunch of questions that we had to get you to back off of. You want to go ahead and kick this thing off?
All right, so out the gate, you know what I'm saying? So, like I was saying in the review, some of my favorite elements of the film was like the costuming and all of the 3D rendering. I don't know, it's not 3D rendering. What do they call that shit? Special effects. There you go. I want to kind of get technical out of the gate because that's something. What was the donut powder that they was putting on it? Was it donut powder or was it like what is this stuff? Because it was like when you get the close up, it's solid, it's smooth, and it really does look like skin.
It's consistent. Yeah.
It's consistent. So like. You explain. I mean, you ain't got to give us all the trade secrets, but if there's a store I could go to so I could be white, let me know.
Antonio used when he did that. I watched him do some of it. He did it with an airbrush, but yeah, he made sure there was good coverage when he put that on. And I haven't been able to recreate that since. And we've done several events with models and stuff, but we could never get that.
Right.
Yeah, we could never get that. But he did a fantastic job, and so did the makeup artist Maha, who worked on. She made his makeup pretty. Made her attractive. So,
right.
but it was a long process, and that most of the money for the film went to that costume. There was a lot of concepts I did that didn't work. Like I tried spandex, that didn't work. Tried some wigs, tried several different hairstylists. It went through quite a few things. And what you saw in the film was what we settled on. The latex suit that cost a couple $100 and a month to make. But it came together beautifully. I remember when I first saw the costume in its entirety, at the studio, because we kind of had the ideas and stuff and I had everything put together, but we didn't actually see it until the day we filmed.
Right.
And, it was she glowed, man. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait a minute. So did you truly have a $7,000 budget for this film?
Yeah. I've always believed that making film is more resource than money. Like if you knew people that had different locations, you can make a film. A lot of the money goes towards licensing places to work and paying your actors. I was able to get around a lot of that stuff. So most of that money went towards, again, that costume. There was some studio work that I paid for, but most of it was just resource. And I did all the editing, the creation of a lot of that stuff. I did it. I studied and worked on my skills, and I got it up to the point where I could do most of that stuff myself. If you look at the credits, you'll see my name on there a lot.
A few times.
It's not ego. It's just that I did it. I did it because I didn't have the money to do it on a level I wanted to do it on.
No, got you. You did special effects as well?
I did the special effects as well. I used a program called After Effects. I use quite a few. I use a lot of Adobe products. I use templates. that were already together, but I kind of stripped them down to their bare minimums and used what I needed. But yeah, I did a lot of special effects. I was learning how to do it as I made the movie.
Got you. Yo, sir. God damn. Yo. And then like you know, I mean, Ed said it during the review, man. Like when you look at what you did with the short afterwards, I was like, oh, if he's got this in the repertoire now, and you're talking about a part 2, oh, we know the part 2 is gonna be crazy. You know
you
what I'm
still
saying?
talking about Ladies Night?
Yeah, the Ladies Night 2077.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a like the level up was
The
severe.
progression.
Yeah, like that was crazy. So shout out to you for that.
Appreciate it, man. That was like everything I've learned. I kind of put it all together. I wanted to test out them characters, and we've had so much success with the character in return. I couldn't help but revisit it with these other new projects. And we had the idea for the short film and the 4 women, but I don't know. It just hit me like, what if we made one of those girls the same species as the young lady in return? And gave it a shot, and it was the twist that it needed, because when we premiered it, the audience was silent. I'm looking at Marlon like, man, should we be getting out of here, man? Because nobody's really reacted to this thing. But
I mean, the audience was quiet throughout the whole film. They was quiet and they was watching it, and we were just like, bro, I don't know how they taking this. You know, we might want to
look for the door.
Yeah, the exit's right there, man. We could just slip out right now. And then at the end, I mean, they just all clapped, and it was like, oh wow, y'all really locked that. Wow.
Yeah, they loved it, and I told Marlon right after, man, we need to start working on the film, like immediately. And we started working on the film right after. Really, we went to dinner the next day after the festival, and we started working on the film. So the book, it's called 7 Signs. It's done. It's about to go to editing, and we're gonna release. Oh, you got it right there. We're gonna release it.
So is this a true sequel to Returned?
No, it's not really a sequel, but
it's just in the universe.
Yeah, I guess the timeline can be very similar, but this is gonna be more on a Blade Runner genre.
Oh, got you.
You know, like a dystopian future kind of Blade Runner. That book is going to be on that vibe.
Yeah. Got you. All right, Ed, I've got more questions, but I want you to take over. Come on, man, get you something in, because I don't want to step on your question.
No, you good. And I'm very patient. I can wait, but I do want to know with Return, how did you guys come together on that? Can you give us a little bit of that backstory? What was the inspiration on it, and how did you guys decide to both work on it? And you know, you can both take that question at any point.
Well, from my perspective, we had already done a film together called "Used to Temporary Happiness," and we did 2 other films after that called "No Time for Love" and "Annulment," and those were pretty much drama, romance, and then "Annulment" was kind of a little bit of an action thriller, a dangerous woman, that type of. So when Lamont came to me. First, I think it was right after you guys remember when that Malaysian flight disappeared back in was it 2013, 2014? That Malaysian flight disappeared, and everybody was wondering what happened to it. So Lamont came to me and was like, "Hey, what if we use that as a premise, as for for our next film, or idea?" And he got me and another writer called Victoria Marie. We all came together and we kind of formed like a little mini writers room. And we used to meet at up at like Pandera, and we used to have writing sessions and coming up with different ideas. And then Lamont kind of put it all together.
Nice.
Well, let me tell you my perspective of it real quick. We did use Temporary Happiness. I did it to see if I could do it, because I was doing book covers for Marlon, and And then I started doing book trailers for Marlon, and it was kind of being successful. So I wanted to step it up a notch. So I added actors to that. The actors didn't say nothing. It was just a visual thing. That got good to me. So I went to Marlon and I was like, hey man, I want to make a movie. I need a book to make a movie or a story. And he had Use of Temporary Happiness. So I dared myself to do it. So we did Use of Temporary Happiness. That movie did well. It came out, ended up in a film festival in New York, and we did a premiere, and People Bryson showed up, and a couple other celebrities showed up, and I'm looking at Martin like, hey man, I think we got something here. And immediately after we did the short films Marlon mentioned, and I wanted to do those to try to fix what I felt like I did wrong in Use of Temporary Happiness. And then once we did that and those films did well, we did a premiere with those two together. That did well. So I told myself the next film I do, I want to be able to sell it to the public. I want to be able to put it out there for real. And that meant licenses, contracts. That meant all the, dot all the I's, cross all the T's. So I went for it. And that's when I came to Marlon. I needed my my writing team. And I had the premise of the film. I wrote it at work as far as the story arc and all that. And then when I got with Marlon, we kind of put dialogue to those story arcs and those chapters and all that. And we did it. And once we finished the book, actually we finished the screenplay first, right, Marlon?
Yeah, then do it.
We finished the screenplay first. And I was like, well, I got all these amazing writers. Let's turn it into a novel. So we turned it into a novel, put that out first. And once we finished the film, it was out. And crazy as it sounds, it took us a year to make the film. We shot primarily on the weekends. We had some delays because Blue Kimball and Diane were our working actors, actual working actors. So Blue would go to California, shoot a film, and come back. Diane would do a commercial for Walmart, and she would come back. And everybody stayed on it. And we finished the film. And I kept them interested because I wasn't paying anybody, but I kept everybody interested because I was doing dailies. So if we shot for a weekend, I would edit it the following week. And when we came back to shoot again, I would show them what they did prior to. And it kind of helped them get in tune with their characters. It gave them an idea of what was going on as far as effects were concerned. And it kept them in it. And they stuck with me for that entire year to get it done. The cool part is Blue went to California to work on something, and I was shopping the film, trying to get a distribution deal, and it happened that he bumped into one of the people at the distribution company who worked for the distribution company, and she called me and like, I bumped into Blue Kimball. He told me about the film. We want to offer you guys a deal, and that's how we got the distribution deal for the film. And Walmart picked it up, and then Sony Pictures Entertainment picked it up, and then it was like international. So my little movie trailer with 1,200 views turned into like thousands in a week, and things kind of took off and have been going since. It's been insane.
And I think I think one of the most interesting things, and one of the main reasons why that film got picked up, because it wasn't the typical, low budget film, based in the hood, romance or drama or hood flick. It stood out from the rest because it was a science fiction film.
Yeah, I definitely want to jump in and say, hold on, I'm sorry, Ed, my bad.
You good, man.
Is that this works for like network television? There's not a salacious amount of cursing. Didn't get my sex scene.
That was on purpose.
Yeah, right. And like you said, it's not a hood film. It's really one of those things. It could work on a sci-fi network. It could work on this place, that place. So like I watched it, I'm like, I see the genius. Like I was like, I see this. This is crossover for the white folk, bruh. You know what I'm saying? You bring them all in there, but at the same time, you still got black faces on it. And I was like, bro, this is freaking genius, man. So like, shout out to you off of that conscious.
That was my vibe going in. Because trust me, I put the brakes on Marlon quite a few times. Matter of fact, Marlon had him sexing on the plane at the very beginning.
That's my man.
I told him no. Yeah, Marlon took it there, but I put the brakes on him. I did.
Yeah. Well,
In
I mean,
hindsight, it was probably the best move to make, but
Hey,
in the moment, it felt right. It felt right.
you know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
but it's funny. It's funny that you say that it stood out because it was, it wasn't like everything else. But I feel like even to this day, even though it was done in 2015, it's still because everybody is still putting out things in that genre of gangster or romance, or something very salacious. And so when JS1 hit me up, it's like, yo, we got to watch this. I never seen a indie sci-fi film. I was like, you know what? Me either, and so it's still separated from everything, and that's why we're looking so forward. That's why we wanted to talk to you guys and see, what's coming, because we're looking forward to the sequel, because it just still separates itself from everything else.
And
Absolutely. Well, we did a sequel. We wrote a sequel, and that's when we found out. Well, actually, before we did the sequel, we found out about Manifest, and you already, bro. But Manifest changed things for us greatly because when Manifest came out, we couldn't do what we wanted to do. We couldn't approach it like we wanted to approach it because Manifest did it. And had we done that, then folks really would have said, "You guys got this from Manifest." But let me tell you something interesting about Manifest. When that happened, I got a call from one of our creative guys, one of our author friends. He said, "Hey man, I think you need an attorney." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, check out Manifest. I checked it out and I was like, yo, that's crazy. So I did my own investigation. I found out that the creator of Manifest actually worked for Sony Pictures. He was a
When they
staff
picked you
writer
guys
for
up,
Sony Pictures. And it was just ironic that our deal was with Sony Pictures. It just,
Pictures.
what are the chances of that, right?
Wiki Dink.
And,
Mhm.
and
Man,
I tried to fight it. I tried, man, but it was difficult.
so they treating you the same way they treated the black chick from the Matrix. Every time a black person come up with some sci-fi, they stealing it. Yo, that pisses me off, bruh.
Did you watch the comparison? You guys watch the comparison?
Yes, I
Well,
did.
but I seen the series, and I already based on like when the Dad Panther, who had pointed out that yours was definitely out before. I already, way before. So I knew that they had definitely ripped it, and I don't know if this helps, but I hated that show. I quit it. In the middle of the first season. The writing was not there for me. I was like, no. And I got a rule. I give you 3 episodes before I walk away to give it a chance to develop. And they were so focused on the overall mystery of it all. Their character development was lacking, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But anyway,
you can tell he wasn't a sci-fi writer. He comes from court shows. You know what I'm saying? He comes from the court writings and that sort of thing, but he's not a sci-fi guy. And that's why I feel like the show fell off, because it wasn't going nowhere.
Right.
It wasn't.
And the thing I appreciate about your guys' review is that we didn't even have to bring that up. Everybody that sees our film or sees a trailer for our film, they always come to us and say, "Hey, did you guys give those NBC guys the idea for Manifest?" And it's like at first, it's not just us saying it; it's people who see the trailer or see the film and like, "Oh, this must be connected to Manifest." And it's like,
right.
no, actually, it's not. It is, but it's not.
But it's not, right. But from a technical aspect, because you guys said some things about the shaky camera and that sort of thing. I had to touch bases on that. I did 2 things. I was still trying to find myself with that film as a director. I was trying to find out what I liked, what I didn't like. So I would shoot scenes on the sticks, on the tripods, and then I would shoot again with a handheld. And I'm just playing, trying to figure out what I like, what I don't like, what I can and can't do, that sort of thing. And I did one of those scenes with handheld all the way through. And then I did the Steadicam stuff, but my computer was hit with a virus and killed all of that. And the only thing that saved the film was, I told you guys I did dailies every week. And Return is pretty much those dailies that I created. Because if it wasn't for that, Return wouldn't exist. So I was the film, the footage that I had, I was kind of stuck with it. So that shaky footage, I had no intention on putting that in there, but I had nothing else to go to. So that's why it looked like that from that perspective, that technical stuff.
As a new film guy, and me, probably being in this for like 3 or 4 years, that is the thing I hate the most. Is like you'll shoot the dopest content in the world and you be so excited, and then either the drive gets corrupted or the thumb drive breaks.
You
So
lose everything.
I've had so many. Even
Right.
our first interview that we did when I came to Atlanta,
Yeah.
bruh, I lost the audio. I was
See?
so mad about that, bruh. Like shit happens, and it's just.
Right.
But thank God that you did those dailies, man. I'm like, and that's a genius idea. I'm gonna take. Hope you don't mind. I'm taking that idea. I'm gonna be using that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It saved the film. It absolutely did. It saved the film. And
All right.
and I do them to this day.
For my God. All right. So it was the story longer, because it felt like in certain places certain things were going to be explained, or it felt like it was long in certain places and then it was short in others, and there was just all this feeling like there might have been more scenes that just didn't happen, or did the other scenes kind of get lost in the corruption? Kind of give me an idea of that.
Well, some of the scenes, most of it was there, but again, we were new filmmakers and we were trying to find our vibe. We were trying to find out where we belonged, what worked and what didn't work. And we learned a lot after that film came out. There's definitely things that I wouldn't do now, but we were trying to find our audience, and boy did we find an audience afterwards. But we tried to do what was in the book. As far as money wise, we tried to do what was in the book. There's a lot of stuff in there that we didn't do, but we did what we could. And from a filmmaker perspective, for every scene in that film Return, it was inspired by a film. It was inspired from something else, and I just kind of did my version of it. The locations are different, of course, but I might have taken the editing approach as far as a scene that was done already. I definitely took effects inspiration from Blade Runner a lot, but we tried to make the best film we can visually and from a dialogue perspective. We really did.
From a story standpoint too, is like especially when you have limited resources, limited budget, you can't really do a lot of action scenes, because that's when you really start to see the amateurishness of it, or the low budget value of it. So a lot of it has to be dialogue. A lot of it has to be story or character development or dialogue. So, the little action scenes that we did are mostly at the end of the film. So the bulk of it, it's really this more mystery drama, what's going on with the story and what's going on with the characters.
Right.
Word.
Gotcha.
Now, knowing that, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You could, man. No, go ahead with your question, because my question is probably going to derail where you was going with it. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. My question is, does the sequel that you wrote, does it get deeper into the lore of this new species that we just find out about? And do you have a desire to continue to build in that world?
You go for that, Marlon.
As far as developing who the Asians are, and where they come from, it does go deeper into their lore. Obviously, there were some things we couldn't do because of Manifest. We had to kind of, with the sequel, we have to kind of change direction, or it will look like, oh, you're copying them. So we had to take the story kind of in a different direction, but we still explore the alien race a little bit deeper.
Gosh. And one last question, I'm gonna let my guy take over. Why is it that my R&B singer lead man didn't turn white at the end of the film when he was with his new girlfriend? She white. He need to be white. They got to be white.
Human. He's half human.
Hybrid.
He's not going to turn into a full alien when he's a hybrid.
So why did he turn light skinned then? He should have turned light skinned. So it's halfway between being black and halfway between white.
This is what I get for trying to have a serious conversation with you. It never fails.
Hey, gotta have some fun. But I was definitely thinking about that at the end of the film. I was like, man, she's mad white and he is nigga color. Like, it was crazy. Go ahead, man. My bad.
So I got to ask. Hopefully, everybody that's watching this interview by now has seen the movie, so I don't mind spoiling. Um, what happened to the humans on the plane? What did their species? I know they pulled the plane to save them, but did I miss what they actually did with them going forward? Like, where are they on their planet thriving? Where are those humans? I mean,
you're absolutely correct. We never covered that, and
okay.
it I don't know. We just didn't go that route. We wanted to kind of stay focused on what was going on. But I totally agree with you. We should have said something, but I didn't want to go off on a tangent. Trying to follow those guys.
Right.
But
And
yeah, some
and
of them could have stayed.
and and obviously with the sequel, that would have been a story plot line we would have followed in the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But once again,
You had to
Manifest
pivot.
had already did it, so it would have seemed a lot like what if we would what we would have did would have seemed like what they did.
Right. It was
Right.
taking them
So
from
we definitely had to pivot away from what happened to the passengers. In my head canon, they're all dead, but that's dark. It's real dark. But,
I mean, it's movie
but
stuff.
but like I said before, with what Manifest did, it made us pivot. So we really didn't address what happened to the passengers.
Mhm.
So you guys are currently in production with an extension from Ladies Night 2077. You said it's called Seven Signs.
Yes.
Okay, so you're in pre-production with that now. You guys are already looking to film.
I'm in pre-production right now because what I like to do is try to get as many of the VFX done before we start filming. So all I have to do is get my actors, put them in place, action. You know what I mean? I don't like to film and then try to figure out the effects. I get it all out the way. I'll use my son. I'll use friends to come over, stand in or whatever. I'll make sure the shot works. And then once I do that, I'm ready to start filming. So I'm in pre-production, creating those shots now.
Nice.
Got you. Do you need any large Jabba the Hutt type characters? Because I could cover those bases for you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
will
Like,
definitely keep that in mind. Absolutely.
if you need anybody, any kind of outer world weirdo guy, I want to play, and I'm willing to sit in the chair to do the makeup, whatever you want. I'm down, bro.
But the cool part about making this new film is, when we made the first one, I had no idea what we were going to do as far as distributing it. I didn't know the business. I had no connections. I just wanted to put the film out there, but we've been through a lot, and we got the scars to show it, the financial scars to show it. But I took my focus off of chasing these guys and trying to sue them, wasting all that money and depressing myself. I decided to focus on the audience we were creating because I took a moment and I kind of noticed how many views some of the platforms had, and I'm like, 700,000 views, 800,000 views, hundreds of comments. I'm focusing on the wrong thing. You know what I mean? I focused on how can I get to that audience? How can I connect with that audience? Because that's our audience. They're commenting and watching what we created. So I need to be somewhere where I can access those folks. So I took my focus off of chasing the guys at Novus, and I focused on that. And what I ended up doing is not even in the textbook. I actually contacted some of these platforms and introduced myself, and I let them know that I directed this film. Here are production photos to prove that I made this film, and that's my audience that's responding, and I need to have access to them. And how can we make that happen? And they opened up the door and allowed us to access our audience, and it really took us to a whole nother level.
Wow.
And it's like it's not in the textbook. I did that because I wanted to win, and we worked hard on this film. I wanted some residuals from it because the audience keeps growing. Every year it grows. And the cool thing about finding your audience is you constantly have a place to interact with them. You know what I mean? In Atlanta, you have the Momo Cons, the Dragon Con,
Right.
there's Honest Con, there's independent what do you call it? Events out there, and when we go to them and we go return, a lot of them have already seen it. They want to meet us. They want to know what we got going on. They want to know more about us. I mean, it's beautiful. It's like we don't have to go far to be face to face with our audience. So
Mhm.
now if we put out something else, we can promote it directly to
To
those
the-
people,
Yeah.
directly to them. So
So you got a following now, and that's a good thing.
we have a following now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my next question is, with your deal, I mean, I'm not trying to get into numbers, but do you still retain ownership of the intellectual property, or as a part of the deal you turn that ownership over?
No, after the contract, those rights are mine.
Okay.
100%. They're Creative Genius Films, and that's why things took off after the contract ended.
Mhm.
Okay. And so like all of the Tubi bread is yours now. And all of the, you know what I'm saying? Like I just saw it on YouTube, man. That joint there ain't got 1 million views on YouTube. So all of that's you.
All of that's coming to Creative Genius Films. It was going to the other company I signed with, but it's interesting because he tried to cut it off and try to stop it, but I had some folks in place that put it right back on again, because like I told you, I was building relationships, and Returned has surpassed that. I mean, it's like I got a call saying, hey, can we put it on TCL TVs, because they have a new platform now where they're selling you can get movies with the TLC TV. And I'm like, wow, absolutely, let's do that. I hear from acquisitions from Fandango regularly. It's just crazy, man. And it's like, we made this film years ago, and it's still opening doors. So my plan is to make another film and come to these platforms with something brand new, so that way we can get 100% of the residuals that it creates, and that way Marlon and I could really start
Yeah,
doing some
because
other things.
I bought it on Google Play at some point because it was like $12.99 something. Like that. It wasn't nothing high.
And
So
we
like
didn't get a check for that. We didn't get
I,
the check for that.
I'll cash app you $13. My bad, bro. I don't know who the Google Play money was for, but I thought I was supporting. I was like, oh, this is my man's joint. Boop, boop. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, you would think that, but yeah, that contract that we had with Novus Content and was it GVN, Sony GVN? Yeah,
I
it
think we're
was.
gonna put them out there, but yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was basically a ripoff, and unfortunately, like Lamont said, we have the scars. We learn from that, unfortunately, and and now going into this next project, we're gonna take what we learned and apply it to this new film.
okay, so
Because if you think about it, I'm going to cut you off, but if you think about it, uh, every time your film plays on a platform and there's commercials, you get a few cents each time a commercial plays, right? A few cents. So how much money do you think it'll be if you got 800,000 views?
Right. And let's say if they at least watch half of it, they're gonna go through 2-3 sets of commercials. So you
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because I
Right.
think too, you end up watching like damn near 10 commercials, 10, 15
Yeah,
commercials.
I
Right.
watched it on Tubi to
So
support.
they could, when I called them, they couldn't say your film's not doing anything. It's like it's right there. You know what I mean? So you're clearly not sending us a check.
Yeah.
Clearly not sending us a check. So
And I think
like I
what
said,
they did too is they had our film on DVD, and they said, okay, well, before we pay you, we'll pay for all these DVDs to be manufactured and sent out to Walmart and Best Buy and whatnot. But
right.
before you get paid, we got to recoup our money back from the manufacturing of these DVDs. And say, oh, so therefore you're not going to make any money from the sales, for the physical sales. And oh yeah, by the way, we're not even going to tell you about what we're doing on the streaming platforms.
Right. They didn't tell us anything. But you know what I learned from that though? As an independent filmmaker, have a clause in your contract where if because they make sure you do what you're supposed to do. They really make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. But there's nothing holding them to what they say they're going to do. So you got to have a clause in there. If they don't do what they say they're going to do, then that contract should be no good. We can cancel it after that. You got to put something in there because, like I said, I signed that stuff, and he paid us nothing, absolutely nothing, and it was difficult to fight it. It was very difficult to fight it. So, and they're counting on you not being able to fight it. So,
yeah, that's the unfortunate part.
Well, with the new set of knowledge that you have now, do you even go to a distribution platform at this point? Because from what I'm understanding, like you can go to Amazon Direct now, you can go to, Tubi Direct now. You don't even really need a middle person for it. So are you guys going to thug it out independent, or did y'all still want to work with a distribution network to kind of help, spread the word?
We're going to work with distribution platforms, but I have a relationship with someone that, because it's like some places you can't just go and say, hey, I got a film, put it on for me. You need someone there to make the deal happen, somebody with a reputation, and you have to find that person, and you have to build a relationship with that person. And fortunately, I was able to find someone that makes sure Creative Genius Films gets what it's supposed to get, and that's the person that had opened the door for Tubi, opened the door for TLC TVs, opened the door for a lot of things for us, and that in turn allowed me to open up some doors myself. Like there's a company called Film Hub where you upload your title to them. You got to provide a lot of different things for us, graphics and advertising, but once you get all out the way, they will put your film onto a lot
As
of
much
different
as they
platforms
can.
as long as they carry your genre, and you will get a check from that. It'll go right into your account. You can see it, and it's beautiful. And they contact you. They ask you to create advertisings. If something good happens with one of the platforms, they'll send you the email so you can see it. And I've seen several emails where they're like, hey, can you guys do this? Or we're going to do a special promotion on your film. But I was able to open up some doors on my own. You can't open all of them, like I said, but some of them you can open on your own if you build the right relationships. And that's what the new platform is for us. We have our relationship. So when we put out a film, I don't do like we did before. We went through Novus, we went through GVN, and then GVN went through Sony. And there was a lot of hands on the film, on the residuals before we even saw anything, and we didn't see nothing. So this time, the way things are set up, there's going to be one split, and after that, we get all the rest. One split, and we get all the rest, and that's it. And the crazy part is, when I did a contract with these other companies, the contract was like 13, 15 pages long. It was ridiculous. When I started doing these new deals with these platforms, 3 pages. And it's done. 3 pages and it's done.
Yeah.
All you need from that after I signed those 2 pages, all he needed was my bank information so they can know where to send the money. That was it.
I like that page. I love that page. That's the page I like.
You asked a question earlier that was very interesting. You said that when Jamal told you about our film, a sci-fi independent sci-fi film, and you said that you don't really see too many of that, and there's a reason for that, obviously, because sci-fi is not a genre. Like you said, a lot of times you need a budget, you need resources in order to do that. Right. And unfortunately for us, Lamont has taught himself to do a lot of those special effects, a lot of those, graphics and special effects. He knows how to do that. He learned how to do it. And not a lot of filmmakers out there, have that, well, you do have access to it, but you don't know the training or know how to use that equipment.
True.
Use those special effects to make sci-fi. So that's the reason why I feel like you see a lot more dramas or hood, type of movies, because those are easy to make.
Yeah. Right. And I also jump in and say that, like, it requires so many different skill sets. First of all, shooting a film without special effects, without, makeup and art, man, it's difficult. But when you start adding in the layers of expertise that need to happen for that to go, costumes and all of that. So like then you have the cool factor. You know, do black people want to dress up and do some intergalactic? Now I think in 2024 it'll be easier than ever because these kids, they love the cosplay, they love the dress up, they're in love with the anime and all of that. So I see a lot of short form with these kids that are creating and using stuff. But 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that wasn't so. So we're just in a new day and age. You know, and that's why I'm excited because I'm like, bro, what you did last time, 15 years, but I know what you got on your computer is crazy. I know you got some crazy stuff on your PC. You know,
it's still no sex scenes though, JS1. Still no sex scenes, bro.
I mean,
no. Now, I'll entertain a sex scene. I'll entertain it because, like I said, I was back in them days. I was just trying to find myself as a filmmaker, and I didn't want to, we did a sex scene in Use of Temporary Happiness. That was my first sex scene, and we had a blast. But wow, it was crazy.
Nah. I definitely, me and my craziness. I only did that as like a little. I just only elbowing Marlon. I just knew. He knew that I was messing with him. Like yeah. Sex scene at my nigga, you know what I mean? But I already know me and Marlon gonna work on the film. We're gonna put our own thing out. We got 9.5 weeks part 2 coming out. You know what I mean? Called 10 weeks, 5 days. You know what I'm saying?
10 weeks, 5 days.
Yeah, y'all know it. So don't even worry about it. Me and him gonna work that out. So all right. So
I want to ask though, real quick though, before we move on. I did want to ask about Seven Signs again. That's coming out in September. The book.
Yeah. The plan is for it to come out the end of September.
Okay.
Like I said, it's about to go into editing, so end of September.
Okay, great. So I'm looking forward to that. And
I want you to send me the link because I want to put it in the description for the pre-order. So whenever y'all decide to do that, just send it to me, and and you know me, I'm gonna promote whatever you guys got, man. You know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
My next question was gonna be based around, you guys. And this is something I really love about you guys is that you guys aren't genre stuck. It's not like, all right, we got to do every film's got to be like this. You got a little bit of action, you got a little bit of love, and we got some sci-fi. Like, okay, so after you guys get this in the can, what is a genre you want to tackle that you haven't touched yet? Or do you want to revisit maybe some action or something else after the fact?
Well, Marlon, what do you think? What do you want to do?
Well, I feel like right now we kind of have our lane right now with sci-fi, with the sci-fi genre. So right now, especially on an independent level, there's not a lot of people that I can think of, and maybe you guys have seen some other stuff out there, but on an independent level, there's not a lot of people out there just doing sci-fi, or different. There's different types like. Return was a certain type of sci-fi, and Seven Signs is going to be more of a cyberpunk type of sci-fi. So that's so there's different little avenues that you could take within the sci-fi genre. So I don't know exactly what the next project is going to be after Seven Signs, but I imagine that we'll probably be staying in that same lane.
Okay. Lamont, what about you?
Might try some. I always want to do a little bit of suspense, but it might have a sci-fi underlining because, like I said, we have an audience, and there's nothing more beautiful than doing something like this and then having a place to take it. It's like if you're a creative and you make pottery or something, but you need a store to sell it. And if you had a store where people love pottery and you take it there every time you make something, that's beautiful. And why would you make a table when you got a place to take your pottery kind of thing? So we have an audience that loves sci-fi. And if I do something that's suspenseful or something a little different, it's going to have a little bit of sci-fi in there just so I can tap into our audience.
And another thing, when we showed Ladies Night to that audience in Sarasota, when we showed it to that audience and we had a question, Q&A after we showed the short film, and the response, especially from Black women or Black people in general, but especially Black women, is that wow, you made a film that was set in the future that actually featured Black women
Mhm.
in those roles. Like you don't really see, it's almost like mainstream Hollywood. We're always not there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or if we're there, it's only one of us and we're in the background.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so to show, three black in the alien, three black women in the future, living their lives. That was for them. It was fascinating for them to watch that, and they just wanted to see more. So
Absolutely.
that was cool.
All right. So, Eddie, did you have more questions? Because I wanted to kind of get to some fun little games real quick before we get them out of here.
One last question I just wanted to ask about the new book that's coming. When you guys wrote it, did you put a cap creatively? Like, did you kind of not go too far because you knew you didn't want to have too much when you try to do the movie that you wouldn't be able to achieve live action? So did you limit yourself with that story knowing because you knew you were going to end up making it a film? Or did you just let the creative juices loose and now you're just, doing the best you can to make to reach all those heights in the film?
No, I told Marlon I told him when we did Return, I'm like, if you got it on your mind, man, let's talk about it. Let's do it, but don't limit it to what we can do and can't do in real life. If you come up with it, let's just put it in there, and when we get to that point to try to create it, we'll just, if we can do it, we'll do it. If we can't, we can't. But I don't want to write a book based on what we can't do in real life. You know what I mean? Because we'll cut ourselves short because you don't know where it's going to go. And
True.
you want to have all your ideas in there.
And the honest truth is, the book is it's a different genre than film. So obviously, there's limited, there's an unlimited budget in a book. You can do anything that you can imagine in a book. So don't limit yourself. Don't limit your storytelling just because you can't do that in real life, or you think you can't do that in real life. And then by the time we're working on the film, there might be some other resources that pop up that allows us to do something similar, if not the same scene that's in the book. So don't limit your storytelling, just because you feel like you can't do it in real life.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
All right, JS1.
All right, gentlemen, since you guys are delving head first into the sci-fi world, we got to test your sci-fi knowledge. Well, before I test it, I'm going to ask y'all individually, top 5, favorite, your personal favorite sci-fi intellectual properties. I'll make it easy. So we're going to start with Marlon. Give me your top 5, sci-fi intellectual properties.
Top 5, it's pure sci-fi. Star Trek is probably my favorite. Followed by, let me see, I have to really think about this. I don't really think I have a top 5, but Star Trek was number 1. Matrix, I think that would be a close 2.
Ooh, that's fire.
I love the Aliens franchise.
Ooh, yeah.
Like Aliens and Terminator, I grew up on those. Who didn't? If you're a child of the 80s, you grew up on those.
That's a fact.
And then I'll say rounding out number 5 will probably be Star Wars.
Okay, I respect that. All right. Lamont, you had time to marinate. See, he didn't get the time.
Yeah, I had time to marinate because I was thinking about that. There's so many, but as far as top 5 go, I gotta say Blade Runner. I absolutely love Blade Runner. I was a Star Wars fan from the get, so from the get-go, whatever. So definitely Star Wars, all the Star Wars, really. Definitely Matrix. Definitely Dune 1, Dune 2, and and I don't know, Ghost in the Shell, I can throw in there. I love Ghost in the Shell.
All right. He threw a little sci-fi anime in there, like a little sprinkle that little sauce. I love it.
I love anime. I love anime and sci-fi. There's a line here where they're right on top of each other, and the new film Seven Signs, it's gonna be a little anime inspiration in there.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
I love that. That reminds me of kind of like Cowboy Bebop. I never watched the anime, but when they did that Netflix series, bro, I love that. I thought they did a smash up job with that. So shout out to them.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm watching a lot of anime. I'm watching a lot of anime from just the animation, the editing, how they do certain things, because they do a lot in these anime scenes, especially in the fight scenes. So I want to incorporate a little bit of that into this next film, and how we can turn some of that anime action into live action.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I'm hoping once we're done, people will catch it. You know what I mean? They'll catch that vibe. A lot of times there might be a fisheye camera and the angle it's in that makes it anime. So I'm hoping folks will catch on to it. But yeah, I'm talking with Marlon about that now. But this one's gonna be heavily inspired by anime.
You not just shooting, you getting stylistic with it. He talking about getting different lenses on it, and it's going. We don't have color palette. Okay, I see you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We take it to the next level.
Damn. Okay. I love that. All right. So my next joint, we gonna do a little versus. It's got to be one or the other. All right. So I'm gonna start with Marlon. So are we doing Star Wars or are you doing Star Trek? Which one? One gotta go.
Star Trek.
Dang, that's hurtful right there. All right, Lamont, we going Doom, or you know what I mean? We going to do Doom, or we going to do like the world of Judge Dredd? Which way we going? We going Dredd? We going Doom? Which way we going?
I enjoy both of those films, but Dredd's got to go. I'm sticking with Dune. Dune's my all-time favorite.
I respect that. All right, Lamont. All right, where are we going? Are we going Aliens or are we going Predator for sci-fi horror?
Ooh.
You gotta choose one, Marlon.
Oh, for me? Oh, you said mine. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I gotta go with Predator. Alien got to go on this one. Predator is like,
you're officially my dude. You know.
I would go personally. I would go Aliens just because of Aliens, the 1987. That was one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
Sci-fi horror action of all time. So that's one of my favorite films of all time. Yeah.
Okay.
I can still rock with you, Marlon. I can still rock with you, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you. First of all, you disrespect the Star Wars, then you double back and disrespect the
Hey, man.
A long time. I don't know if this was gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
You can go enjoy the Acolyte. You know.
Yeah. I did enjoy the Acolyte. I did. Because y'all be going there with expectations. You got to stop expecting stuff, bro.
I had no expectations. I got no expectations whatsoever.
Look, Marlon, I know you don't like empowering women. You know what I'm saying? You know, you like all your men to be in charge of it. I'm just saying. Every one of his books has a female lead. So before y'all even get in the comments, shut up. All right? That is the most female empowering guy I've ever known. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway.
That's his audience. That's his audience.
That is definitely his audience. Like, I don't know why. You should be hanging out with more dudes, but you don't, man. You just got all chicks. I get it. It makes sense. Makes sense. All right, so let's go. We're going to talk about lead female characters. Okay. So, all right, so we're going to talk about, Mama from Judgment, I'm about to say Judgment Day. Mama from Terminator, or we going to Mama from Aliens?
Ripley.
That's what we do.
I like Mama from Aliens. Yeah, I gotta go with Mama from Aliens.
Yeah,
Mama from Terminator. She was gangster. Shotgun.
She was also crazy too.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
You know, my favorite scene with her was when it was one of the newer versions when they found the Terminator. He kind of adopted a normal life. He had a new name. He had a family. You remember that one?
Yeah.
He talked about they called me Carl. She like, I'm not calling you Carl.
I'm not gonna call you that. Yeah.
I fell out with that. I ain't calling you no damn Carl.
No, not after all we've been through. No.
Yeah. That was fucking hilarious to me. But
I think it was such a uniquely cool idea the way they wrote that. It's just that once again, I feel like that audience, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what audiences want sometimes. I feel like that was a good film and people were just like,
Yeah.
I think Terminator. After Terminator 2, there was too many
Variations.
variations or mediocre films, and you killed the audience. The same thing with Aliens. It was a lot of after the 1987 Aliens, there was a lot of mid, a lot of then Prometheus or whatever that was, you know,
Mhm.
and it killed the audience. So now you're just starting to revive the audience for Aliens and Predator with
Mhm.
Prey and Romulus because
Mhm.
basically what they did, they abandoned all that. When you try to over explain things, you lose people. And the
Mhm.
thing about aliens is they're scary monsters with acid blood that like eating, that like killing humans. Keep it simple. And that's
Mhm.
what they kind of return to in Romulus and
Mhm.
Predator, out in the woods, killing folks, hunting. You bring it back to the basics and you bring back the audience. So I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of those other films in the middle, they were trying to over explain things too much and it lost the audience.
Well,
Yeah.
when you see something like Star Wars and Star Trek expand into universes, creating multiple IPs out of it, and billions of dollars start getting generated, everybody wants a piece of that. Like everybody's universe building right now, which
And
needs
everybody
money.
can't do that. And
Right.
that's the reality. Not everybody can do that.
Word.
Right.
My question is, are you guys planning on, is this going to create the Genius Film cinematic universe with, groups of
Never thought
aliens?
about that.
Huh?
I never thought about that. But it is kind of a universe now because everything we've done from a sci-fi perspective, it was inspired by the character in Return.
Right.
Yeah.
There's the same species as in Return 2, the same species as in
Seven
Seven
Son.
Signs. So
Mhm.
it's kind of building itself, and it all can be the same universe or same
It
timeline.
is.
So
Right.
so
Mhm.
we're kind of already there.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just we're just not trying to shove it down your face like, oh, you have to read this book or you have to watch this film in order to understand what's going on in this
Right.
film. It's just
Right.
like, oh, if you catch it, you catch it. Like, okay, that's an alien. That's the same type of alien that was in that movie. Okay, I get it. Okay, cool. Move on with
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's subtle. It's real subtle, but folks will get it. Folks will get it later.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you for being patient. That was my little bit of game. That was my one little piece of creativity for the night, and I'm done. So, like, give it back to my man Ed. It's all you, my guy.
Well, I'm really glad you guys came on. This was a great interview. It was so eye opening. You guys really sharing your story as far as how you got inspired. I'm glad you guys were willing to talk about the situation with what was Manifest. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are willing to talk about that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys got coming. I do want to give you an opportunity if there's anything else that you guys want to say, promote, or address. Now's the time. Marlon, you got anything?
Nothing else really outside of Seven Signs that's coming end of September, maybe October, but end of September is what we're aiming for. And outside of that, I really appreciate you guys review even the most critical reviews because we understand what we are and what we are able to do on the level that we're able to do it on.
Mhm.
So yes, that the constructive criticism, it's always appreciated, and that helps us grow when we do our next project. We're like, okay, remember, this is what we did last time. This is what people were feeling, what people are enjoying. They didn't so much enjoy this, but we're gonna try to do it better the next time around. So, yeah, you guys' reviews and everybody else's reviews, they help us, and we appreciate it.
Man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And for me, go to creativegeniusfilms.com. Please go there, check it out. There's links so you can see all our films, all our work, and what we
Okay.
got coming up in the whole 9 yards. The book links are there as well. So go to creativegenius.film and check us out.
Word. If Eddie and I had some ideas on some ways to offshoot to help build the world a little bit more, like we had some ideas on like web series and stuff like that. We're trying to do different content for our YouTube channel. So would you guys be open to maybe allowing some scruffy haired old guys getting in on the action too?
We'll talk about that. I'm all
Yeah.
down with that. I'm all down with that. We
Let's
you
do
know
it.
it's cool because a lot of people that worked on Return with us, they're doing bigger and better things now, and I love that. I love, like I invite people to come to the set and hang out with us. So you guys, when we start filming, I'll definitely reach out to you guys and come to the set, promote your show. You know what I mean? We always do behind the scenes stuff because that's how you promote your work. I tell people, what you do behind the scenes is just as important to me as the content you're shooting, because people want to see how you create it and who's involved, and people want to see that. That's value in that. That's why we used to interview our actors off the set on the side, talking about their characters and that sort of thing. So you got to do that. You got to do that. So yeah, I'll invite you guys out. That ain't a problem.
That's what's up. Looking forward to it, man.
And once you start production, y'all need to start a Patreon, and all of that footage you need to be putting all that behind the scenes stuff, put it behind the Patreon wall, and let people pay to support. You know what I'm saying? Because like people like me,
I had a conversation before. Let me think about that.
Yeah. I'd put up $5 a month, and if I know, every week you dropping new little things here and there. You don't have to show us stuff from the film specifically, but behind the scenes footage or conversations about the writing room and the direction, giving us hints on where the direction.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do it like a seasonal thing, like when you're working on a film, you got some exclusive content. That's when you open it up. Yeah, I'm with that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then even down talking about, because you might have a bunch of old footage from Return. Well, those fans are gonna want to get that. Put all that behind the Patreon, and people will pay $5-10, and you time release, man, time release. I'm telling you, like this new world we live in, we are used to subscriptions. Number one, and people are thirsty for more information about the things they love. So like, you know what I mean? Like, just, I always say, as a fan, allow me an opportunity to support you, but also feed my thirst at the same time. So.
Right. I got some other stuff I can share with you, but we have to do that off.
Yeah. Definitely.
Just things behind the scenes that I did as a businessman, and I want to share that with you.
God bless you, brother. All right, with that being said, we wrap this up because he about to tell me how to get some more money. So we about to get on that.
So again, we appreciate y'all coming through. This is Real Reviews, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Real Reviews, live and unapologetic.